The Cherokees had lived in the Southeast for hundreds of years before the arrival of European settlers in the early 18th century. Though they adapted to the ways of Western civilization, they were still pressured into giving up their ancestral homelands. Between 1721 and 1819, the Cherokees and other tribes in the region had ceded more than 90% of their lands to the U.S. government. In his 1829 inaugural address, President Andrew Jackson announced his policy to relocate Indians living in the Southeast. The following year, Congress passed the Indian Removal Act, forcing the Cherokees to move west of the Mississippi. Chief John Ross and a majority of his people were adamantly opposed to removal. A small faction, however, believed otherwise. In December 1835, the U.S. government came to terms with this unelected minority and signed a treaty at New Okota, Georgia. The agreement ceded all Cherokee territory east of the Mississippi in exchange for $5 million and new homelands in Indian Territory. In spite of the protests of a Cherokee majority, the U.S. Senate ratified the treaty by a single vote. In May 1838, federal troops and state militias rounded up about 17,000 Cherokees in internment camps and marched them to Indian Territory in what is now Oklahoma, a distance of about 1,200 miles. Scholars estimate that 4,000 to 5,000 Cherokees, including Chief Ross's wife, died from disease, starvation, and unsanitary conditions on the so-called Trail of Tears. By March 1839, the survivors had arrived in Indian Territory. In August, John Ross was re-elected principal chief, and the Cherokees continued as an independent, self-sufficient nation. Tahlequah, Oklahoma became its capital and remains tribal headquarters today.